Hi guys, it's Marie Diemer again, and I thought I would showcase to you one of the new items that's showing up in the 2020 fall catalog, and it is called Creamy Pesto Parmesan Chicken. Again, it's one of those easy dinner solutions that cooks up so quickly, and tonight I just wanted something super simple. So, super simple, like I said, you need a frying pan. I'm going to use my EPICURE wok because it has high sides on it, so when I put in spinach, you know, I can toss it around without it going all over the place. But all that this recipe calls for, you will need a pound of chicken. We chose dark meat, white meat, doesn't matter, boneless, skinless chicken, a cup and a half of milk, and 4 cups of baby spinach. And all we have to do is cook up our, fry up our chicken, and then mix it with the milk, seasoning mix. When it thickens, we're gonna throw in some spinach, and you would serve that normally over some pasta of your choice, or rice, or something similar to that. We are going to have it over cauliflower rice because we're trying to eat a few less carbs. So, the first thing it tells you to do is to take a cup and a half of milk, and put your dinner packet in there. I'm just going to mix it up quickly with a little whisk. And it says set it aside. And all this is going to do is let the flavors incorporate into the milk. You can use whatever type of milk you have at home. Milk substitute if you're lactose intolerant, doesn't matter. So all I've done is whisk up the mix in the milk. I'm going to set it aside because once you add it to your hot chicken, it's going to thicken up pretty quickly. So you kind of want it blended a little bit so that you're not going to have any crunchy bits. So that's it. Mix that up and I set it aside. And now it tells you to cook your chicken. So I am going to stir fry this. I've got some heat to the pan. It says a tablespoon of oil, but you know, really good snort, like we say. Now, anytime that you're frying something in oil, you want to preheat up the oil, but you don't want to burn it so that that affects the flavor of your food. You want the oil to be hot enough that when you put the chicken or whatever you're putting in there, it doesn't soak up all the oil before it starts to cook. You want the oil hot enough that it'll start cooking the meat immediately, so your food won't be greasy. So in order to check for that, I'm just putting some oil up the sides of the pan. You usually just make your hand wet and snap some water droplets in there. If the oil is hot enough to cook in, it'll snap, crackle, and pop, and you know you're ready. See, I just did that. It's not quite snapping, it's just starting. I had put some heat under the pan before I started the video, just to speed things up a bit. Now, one more try. There, and you can hear the sizzle, maybe not too well on the video, but it started to sizzle, which means it's okay to put the meat in. I cut up my chicken, and I am going to quickly stir fry it. Now, I'm using my EPICURE wok. This is not rocket science, this is just a quick stir fry in the wok. You could use a frying pan. I would suggest one that has good sides on it, like a little bit higher, because at some point you're going to throw in 4 cups of spinach, and before it cooks down, it's got a lot of volume to it, although it will cook down quite quickly. So I'm just going to stir fry this meat up. Shouldn't take too long. Now, I use dark meat because that's our preference. You could use it, the recipe itself calls for putting a whole boneless chicken breast in to cook it. I just didn't want to fluff around with the length of time that might take. So I took boneless chicken thighs and I cut them up. I did not cut them in tiny little strips because I want my serving to be meaty and I want it to be moist. So this is an example. My meat is more that size. A little bit smaller than what you would expect for a stir fry. But again, it will cook up quite quickly. What it's doing. So I also said it called for white meat. White, dark, doesn't matter. You could, if you wanted, go to the store and buy a rotisserie chicken. Because it's pre-cooked, you're just going to have it in the fry pan long enough to heat it through, and that takes even less time if you're in a bit of a crunch. EPICURE also sells a multi-purpose steamer, and you can cook a whole fryer chicken in your microwave in the steamer, which seals in all the juices and doesn't affect the texture of the meat. You can cook one, and I think it's about 20 to 25 minutes to cook a whole chicken. So if you're cooking for more people, or if you just want to cook up a chicken so you can have it on hand for sandwiches, anything like that, that's what you would do. So this meat is probably going to take another 2 to 3 minutes. I'm going to pause the video, and I will be right back to show you how to complete the dish. Thank you. Okay, we're back. That break was less than 3 minutes. So the meat was probably stir frying maybe 4 minutes or so. And as you can tell, I've got nicely browned chicken here. Our next step, I have turned the heat down because I had it up quite high to do the stir fry. So I've turned the heat down, I don't know, medium, a little less than medium. Our next step is to take our milk and our seasoning package. Again, you get about 3 of these seasoning packages. You get 3 of these seasoning packages when you place an order. And one meal makes 4 to 6 servings. This has got a pound of chicken in it, 4 cups of spinach, and probably when I turn the video off, I'll add a little more spinach to it, only because it shrinks down so little and it's a way for me to get my vegetables in me. So this is my milk. You can tell it's thickened up a little bit just with the dry mix in there. You're going to pour that on top of your chicken. I'm going to put it back on the heat that I turned down a little bit. And it should take a couple of minutes. I'm going to stir the bottom, which will get the nice crispy bits that have stuck to the bottom of the wok as the chicken stir fry. And just deglaze the pan a little bit. So you should stir it at this time because you are thickening it up. You don't want it to go lumpy on you. But I love, love, love my wok. I've done quite a few videos, and I tend to use it frequently because it's one of my favorites. A, it's got nice sides on it. Anything that has a sauce, you're not trying to make sure it doesn't splash outside the pan. B, doesn't matter what you cook in it, whether it looks burnt on or what, doesn't matter, it cleans up like a dream. So the wok usually sells for $140 in the catalog. So obviously it's a perfect item if you were considering hosting a cooking class to be able to get it for half price. So I use mine a lot. It's amazing how fast suppers could be. So this is starting to thicken up a little bit now. As you can see, it's not quite ready, but it smells amazing. And I'm so anxious to try it. As soon as I saw in the catalog that this was there, it was like, it's got my name written all over it. Creamy, Parmesan. So the only thing I've done a little differently than the recipe, it called for chicken breast. We prefer dark meat. It calls for 4 cups of spinach. We bought baby spinach, doesn't matter what you buy. We bought baby spinach. I'm probably gonna put more than 4 cups in it. And I think when I'm all done, I'm just gonna sprinkle some grated Parmesan cheese on the top because, you know, cheese. So this is bubbling now, and it's thickening up nicely. You can tell. It's just a little bit lighter than gravy would be as far as thickness goes. My meat's cooked. This means my sauce is cooked. All you have to do is dump in your pre-bought bag of spinach, and when it's wilted down, you're done. Just dump that in there. Again, you can see the advantages to having a pan with nice high sides. The spinach will cook down amazing. It'll look like nothing when you're all done. But until it starts to wilt, it takes up a lot of room in the pan. So that's it. I'm just going to stir this up and show you the finished product. Again, if you're interested in eating a little healthier and you're not trying to consume as many carbs on some days versus others, like I said before, we often grate up or chop up very fine cauliflower, and we stir fry it really quite quickly. I put a little EPICURE seasoning in, whatever grabs me at the moment. Often it's Asian stir fry, and I use that as a base. Something else that you can use that's a really great base is when you take a zucchini and use the mandolin to shred it into julienne strips and stir fry that. And again, another healthy base. So as you can see, what we thought was going to be a ton of spinach has cooked down quite a bit. And our dinner is done. Literally, you're talking maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to sprinkle some Parmesan cheese over the top. You know my expression, a really good few snorts, and you are good. Look at that. So thank you for joining me for my video today. I will keep posting as I try the new items that are coming out in the fall book. Thanks again.